Good morning, Gautam sir. Can see you and can hear you too.
Okay. Now,
Can you see me, Janet here?
hi, Janet.
Hi, thank you so much for being here.
No, it's a pleasure to be here.
And there's so much that we have to hear from someone who used to recruit to get cadets into the army.
That's it. Though my take would be more inclined towards the army, but whatever is true for the army is true for the navy and air force also.
Yes, yes. Vera sir, you are looking fantastic.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Gautam sir,
Yes.
this is one of our teachers. He's actually a physics teacher, but he leads the scouts and guides, and
Oh,
they are proud recipients every year of President's Award, Governor's Award. He takes the scouts team all over the country. So we have
wow.
one of the best scouts contingents in the country.
Wow. Congratulations. Shama Prasad Banerjee, is it?
Shyamprasad Bera, sir.
Bera. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So that's great. Congratulations. That's fantastic.
Thank you, sir. So, ma'am, with your permission, can we start?
Yes, please, sir. Please start.
Okay. A very good morning to each and everyone present here. I, Shyamprasad Bera, on behalf of St. Augustine, Barakpur and Shamnagar, extend a heartily welcome to our resource person, Lieutenant Colonel Gautam Nandi. He served Indian Army for 22 years. 22 years serving the nation, Indian Army, it's not a small deal, it's a big deal. Because 22 years far from home, leading for the nation only, different front, land, sea, even say ice, rain. Being a child of army person, I belong to army family. So I know how much pain sir has already taken throughout the 22 years, and after that, guiding so many persons in this regard. We extend your welcome, sir, for our e-career fair. This is the third time we are doing this. I would like to call upon our principal, sir, Mr. A.D. Gomes. He would like to introduce you to our students. All over to you, sir.
Good morning to Lieutenant Colonel Gautam Nandi.
Morning.
Mr. Bera, I am audible, I hope. So,
Yes, sir. You're audible.
okay. So, Lieutenant Colonel Gautam Nandi, retired, served in the Indian Army for 22 years in the Elite Gorkha Regiment. After retirement, he did a program. Thereafter, he developed the first IT park of Bhutan in Thimphu and continues to work in various fields from security to hospitality to man and facilities management. He is a natural leader with cheerful approach to life. And because of that, motivate all of us, and especially our students in this career fair. So we welcome you and we request you to inspire all our students who are present in this forum and as well as in the YouTube, in the different digital forum, to motivate them and to make them aware about the different opportunities. So welcome to you and over to you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Gomes and Mr. Bera, Janet ma'am. Thank you, everybody, and it's a pleasure and honor to be here. And if I can in any way motivate even one person to join this elite armed forces, it would be an accomplished task. With that, a very good morning to all of you young aspiring leaders and officers of the future of Indian Army or Indian Armed Forces. Now, I thank you all for this lovely introduction that you have given me. I don't know how much of it is due to me, but thank you so much. I have, as you said, served the nation or the Indian Army for about 22 years, and I have been in all type of terrain. But that is nothing unique for me to do. Each and every army officer, especially an infantry officer, goes through all that, and they have seen, you know, beautiful Kashmir valleys, to the deserts, to the Run of Kutch, to the south, and it's a great honor to be serving. Now, first of all, I would like to say that uh, this armed forces life is not for a person who is aspiring to push a pen in a air conditioned office. It's a tough life. It's a very tough life, and if you are adventurous and if you like that kind of world, you will really fit in, and you would really like doing the job that you are given. You know, no 2 days in the Indian Army or in the armed forces for an officer or any other personnel is exactly the same. Every day is due. Every day has got something to offer you. Every day has a new challenge bringing you and pushing your limits every day.
जय 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 आपको फोन दे देंगे 10 मिनट में जाइए.
Okay, having said that, you know, there are two aspects to where you're standing today at the crossroads. One is how to join the armed forces. What are the various examinations that you have to take? What are the institutions through which you can join the armed forces? And the second part of it is what to expect after joining the armed forces. Now, the first part of it, which is you know, of how to join the armed forces, how to join the armed forces, and what are the various exams that you have to take, what is the SSB preparation that you have to do. All that is given in your, you know, is available on the net. Everything, even question papers, your how to approach, how to tackle your SSB interview, your group task. And if I delve into that, that itself would take about a day. However, what I will do is I will focus on what to expect once you join the army, and then you will know whether that is the kind of life that you really want. You know, the examination part and all you can get from this from the net, the question papers and how to join, what are the criteria, what are the QRs, what are your age qualifications and all that. However, at the end of it, in the question answers, if there are any particular questions on this, I will be happy to answer them. So my concentration or my main aim today would be to give you a preview or a look into what would you have to face or what you would have to go through on a day-to-day basis after you join the armed forces. Now, this also has two parts in it. One is during your training, what to expect. And then after you have trained and gone into the army, what to expect, or the armed forces. I predominantly say army because I am from the army, and my experiences are from the army. But it holds true for the Navy and Air Force also. So when I say army, I mean the armed forces. Okay. Now, the first part is when you join the academy. Now, there are various academies, as you may be aware. After class 12, you join the NDA, or the National Defense Academy. The NDA, you undergo a training for about 3 years of 6 terms of 6 months each. The first term is in a place away from the main academy of the NDA. It's a place called Ghorpuri. It's in Pune. The first term of 6 months, when you are a first termer in NDA, you are in a different place. It is basically to prepare you to face a storm. And mind you, the storm will come when you join the rest of your academy in your second term in Khadak Basla. So first term is a relatively easy term because it's just you and your course mates and your instructors who are there, and you are prepared physically and more so mentally to join and face the storm. Now, once you have finished the first 6 months, then you come into Kharakvatsala and you join as a second termer, which is the lowest in the academy. As you do your training of 6 months each, you keep getting promoted to the next term, the second term, third term, fourth term. And as you grow, your privileges, your mental strength, your physical abilities also keep increasing many folds. You will be pushing your levels to such an extent that even you couldn't believe that you could do all that. So when you come in fresh from your class 12 as a young boy of say 16, 17 years of age, and then slowly they temper you into steel. In the academy, you have your drill, your physical training, and along with that, you also do your graduation. And at the end of it, when you graduate or you pass out from NDA, you have a degree from the Jawaharlal Nehru University. So it is not only physical and mental training or teaching about military and battle tactics, but it also gives you a graduation certificate. Now it is up to you whether you want to take up science stream or
Then I lost the link. Where because different, so many WhatsApp mail.
2096 batch.
Amnik sir, can you please go on mute?
Yeah. So so like I was saying, you do your graduation also along with your military training. While in the National Academy, the NDA, your emphasis is not mainly on the military aspects of it, but on your educational aspects and your physical toning up and strength building. In the academy itself, you get to learn or try to understand whether you would like to join the Army, Navy, or Air Force. So in your fourth term, you are by and large, you have made up your mind that whether you'd like to go into the Army or whether you'd like to go into the Navy or the Air Force. And accordingly, you take your arm. Now, to join the Navy or the Air Force, you have to have a science background. Whereas in the Army, you could join without a science background. However, if you have the science background, more avenues are open to you in the Army. Like, for example, you could, unless you have a science background, you cannot join, say, the engineers or the electrical and mechanical engineers or signals. There are the technical arms for which you need a science background. However, if you want to join the infantry or the armored or any of the fighting forces, you need not have a science background, just a BA would be enough. Now, in the academy, what you are really taught is camaraderie. You make friends who are not only your buddies, who become your brothers for life. And they stay with you. And that is the actual truth of the academy. You know, your physical abilities and academics they go hand in hand. But however, what you actually take away from the academy are friends for life. And these friends
Gautam, just a moment. I think for some reason you've gone on mute. If you can just ask to unmute, please. Yes.
Am I okay now?
Yes, now you are.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay, sorry, I don't know how it got muted.
No, actually, there's some disturbance happening at the back. Some people are unmuting and there's a lot of disturbance. So we can't hear you. So the control desk is muting everyone. So
Okay.
please go ahead.
Okay. So as I was saying, in the academy, what you actually take away during your training is what friendship and camaraderie that you build among yourselves, which will last you for the rest of your life. And that is your main takeaway, you know. They will guide you in every way, and they'll make you street smart. The academy, the training, you know, is the survival of the fittest. For example, if I can quote an example from the academy, um, see, you know, you have something called, you know, when you're given an order in the academy or in the training agency, it has to be done, and it has to be done on time and at the right place at the right time for that to happen. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to do the right thing. You have to submit. Like, for example, there was an order. It came around 7:30 in the evening, saying that by 12 o'clock that night, all of you have to submit a photograph of yourself. Now, they don't care what photograph you are submitting. What they want is that you submit it on time. It could be anybody's photograph for all you care. So when this came, I didn't have a photograph. So this friend of mine, he says, look, Nandi, you don't have a photograph, take one of mine. I have an extra. So I said, but they want my photograph. He said, no, this is the army. They just want you to submit. So fair enough, I went and I submitted this photograph, and my name was ticked as one was submitted. All those who hadn't submitted were given a punishment that night. However, I wasn't given any punishment because I had submitted a photograph. Now that photograph came onto the board the next day with my name on it. It was my friend's photograph, but nobody checked. So after a day or so, I got my own photograph made. I just took out that photo and put mine. So what I'm trying to say is, you know, you have to submit and, you know, be counted for. And, you know, that is the kind of street smartness that you learn in the academy. Another example, you know, I don't drink tea in the morning. I'm not that, you know, bed tea kind of a person. So the tea would come a bit away from our barracks on a thela in a decanter, and everybody would go there with their mug, fill up their tea, have their tea and their biscuits, and then start the day. Now, since I didn't have tea, I got that extra 15 minutes to sleep. Now, mind you, in the academy, sleep is a very, 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 you know, an important commodity. So 15 minutes of extra sleep is like gold. So I was getting this extra sleep, and then one of the seniors, he told me one day, you don't get up in the morning. From tomorrow onwards, you go and get my tea for me, and I will get the extra 15 minutes of sleep. He's a senior. I have to do what he tells me to do. That is another thing. Hukum to hukum hai. You cannot say no in the army. So again, I got up early in the morning, took the mug that he had given me the last night. I went, filled it up, came back, gave him the tea. So he looked at it, and it was not up to the brim. It was a bit less than the brim. So he says, what kind of nonsense is this? Don't you have manners? Don't you know how to serve tea to a senior? You have to fill it right up to the brim. Well, fine. Next day, I fill it up to the brim. Now I have to walk about, you know, it's a bit away from the barracks. So I have to walk very slowly so that I don't spill it. So when I brought that to him, he took one sip and said, my God, this is cold. Don't you have any, you know, sense to serve hot piping tea to your seniors? So I was in a quandary. I didn't know what to do, you know. And then again, this coursemate of mine comes and says, okay, what's up? He seemed to be worried. So I said, look, this is the quandary I am in. I mean, if I walk fast, it spills. And if I walk slowly, it becomes, what do I do? So then he tells me, what you do is you fill it up to the brim, and then you take a sip in your mouth. Don't gulp it, keep it in your mouth. And then you walk fast. Now that it is less than the brim, knock on his door and spit it out and give to him. You know, so I did that, and it was up to the brim and it was piping hot. So these are the, you know, out of the box things which you will learn in the academy. What I'm trying to say is the academy is just not where you learn your ABC or the 3 R's or your training. It also helps you to deal with life in a practical way, thinking out of the box. I'll give you another example. In the academy, you have your own cots and you have your mosquito net. Now, it so happened we had come down after about an 18-hour trek, a night march, and we had just reached. So I took a bath, I had my food, and I was relaxing in the bed. And at that point of time, I used to have cigarettes. Now I've given up, but then I used to have a cigarette. And that one cigarette, after that big long walk, was extremely relaxing. But I somehow fell asleep, and that cigarette touched the mosquito net, and there was a big hole in it. By the time I realized, there was a big hole. Now, I didn't know how to stitch. So the mosquitoes would get into that, through that hole. And the whole night they would disturb me and I couldn't sleep, you know, and I was really getting haggard. I didn't know what to do. I tried putting safety pins and all that, but it didn't work. The mosquitoes would get in. And I really needed to sleep. So after some time, I made another hole on the side of the mosquito net. I made another hole. I took a chart paper and I put the chart paper from one hole and out of the other hole. So the mosquitoes would come in and they'll go out and I would sleep, you know, soundly. So you know, so what I'm trying to say is normally a person would not think like that. But in the academy, the pressures, the sleep is so important, it makes you think. And that later on will help you in life, in improvising in a situation where it's a very, very difficult situation. And then you have to improvise on your feet. You don't have time. You don't have planning. You don't have training for everything that you do. You know, you might come across a situation where you're doing a patrolling in, say, in an insurgency area or terrorist infested area. And suddenly from say on the first floor, somebody opens fire to you. What do you do? So those are the things where you think on your feet, and the training that you get in the academy helps you to get thinking on your feet. It becomes kind of a muscle memory. It kind of becomes a second nature to you because of those pressures. Now, the training part is where you are, you know, you're being made into a leader. After this, you join your respective units. You could be either in the fighting arms or you could be in the services. So now I will try and tell you what to expect once you join your unit. In the unit, in your first 3 months, you will learn more than what you have learned in your entire academy days, your entire training. It is like you will be baptized under fire, and you will, from facing the storm, will become the storm. That is what a good unit will teach you. It will teach you to be an officer, it will teach you to be a leader, and it will teach you to be responsible. From day one, when you're what, about 21, 22 years of age, you will be responsible for the lives of a whole number of people, not only their lives, their families, their parents and mothers, everybody. So suddenly from a young college, you know, dada, you now become a responsible officer. And that matures you. And that responsibility will make you think twice before you take a decision. And that is what a good unit will teach you in your initial stages. Now, the unit life, well, you have a peace station and you have a field station. A peace station is where you can stay with your family, You can invite your friends over to stay with you. You have guest rooms. You have, it's a peace station. There's no pressure of fighting the insurgency or terrorists or any of that. However, during this peace station, we hone our skills. We undergo a lot of training. We do exercises. We do exercises on paper, on clay models, where one side is depicted as a red land or your enemy, and one side is depicted as blue land or your own forces. And you'll have mock battles and train on that. But frankly, for all soldiers, the field stations are the ones which are really interesting. And that is what I think all of y'all would actually be joining in for. I mean, if y'all are going to be happy being in a peace station, then I think the corporate world would have been equally good for you, However, the very fact that y'all are thinking of joining the armed forces would mean that y'all have a streak of adventurism in you. And that streak of adventurism will come through only in your field areas. That is in the border areas. The extreme the border, the more the adventurous life that you have. In a typical field area, where they say in J&K, you're on the LC, on the line of control, as they say. Every day is an adventure. Every day is something new happening. Something or the other happens. Small things like your enemy or the Pakistanis would be across the border about say 600 to 700 meters away from you, and you'll often find them shouting from there. They call us Sathi, by the way. Okay. So they say, Sathi, Hindi Gana Chalao, because they like to listen to Bollywood songs, and they say, "Hame thoda Gana sunao, Sathi." And then you open up with your LNG and say, "Kaisa laga Gana?" And then they will give you the choices of galis, But I'm saying this is the kind of life that you're going to be having if you join the armed forces. It's not your mundane, employee of the week or things like that. It is the survivor of the week, so to say. And it's a very, very different world. It's very interesting. So just to give you a glimpse of what the army life would be about, is on a day when you got nothing much to do, you could probably go down for a fishing trip with your buddies. People go to work, you go fishing. At night you go hunting, and you're not hunting Tita, you're hunting the terrorists, and you're thinking ways and means of how to trap that enemy, how to lay the minefield, where to put the barbed wire, how to put the trip wire, So again, to make you understand what your life would be, you'd have to think on your feet again. In Kashmir, in one of the forward posts in Kashmir, we had a no man's land in front of us, which was heavily forested or kind of undergrowth. And we had to mine that area, and we had to put these wires. You pull a wire and you trip that wire, and the mine goes off. Now what happened is that we put those mines, and then we realized that there were wild boars and wild animals who would trip on those, and it would kill those poor animals, which we didn't want, and it would be wasting your ammunition, it would be giving away your position and your plan. So we had to think of a way, and so what we did was we put a pole and we strung the wire about say 3 feet off the ground. So while a man, while walking, would trip it, but an animal would go underneath it without harming anybody. So this is the kind of the life that you're going to be facing with. I am not able to capture the entire lifespan of a armed forces leader, but what I'm trying to tell you is, if you have this adventurous spirit, this is the kind of life that you really like. And of course, you have your perks and privileges. The starting salary of, say, an armed forces officer, including his perks and privileges, would be probably the best starting salary in today's, even compared to the corporate world. So at one point of time, the salaries were not so good. But now, after the 6th and the 7th Pay Commission, our salaries have really better than the corporate today. You have your rations, you have your free travel, you have medical for life. Even after your pension, one of your biggest worries is your medical, which is taken care of by the government. You, your family, your children, your dependent parents are all covered with free medical in the best of the command hospitals and military hospitals. And after retirement, in case the military hospital is unable to treat you, you get free treatment in any of the empaneled hospitals of your city. You just have to walk in, show your card, you get your treatment, the bill is sent to the army, you walk home without paying even a paisa. So these are certain things which are add-ons, and apart from the adventurism that you're looking at, it also gives you a very secure life. You get pension for life, which is a very handsome pension today. I mean, it is much more than what was available earlier. Then in the army or the defense forces, you can even be a lawyer and join. You could be a doctor, of course. So an educationist. Everything is now you can be an army officer while being a doctor or a lawyer. So whatever is your passion, you could fulfill that. In the peace stations, if you are into say modeling, or you like to do art and craft, or you want to do fashion designing, you get a scope to do that also, because there are various functions in which you can showcase this kind of a talent. So it's a wholesome, a full an opportunity or career which is absolutely fulfilling. So with that, I'll take rest my speech in case there are any questions that you'd like to ask. Please go ahead, and I'll try and attend to that.
Sir, I have few questions which will be helpful for the students to understand about the Indian Army. So my first question is, can you please tell them what is the basic difference between NDA and CDS? There are two entries to Indian Army towards officer rank. One is after 12 NDA, one is CDS after graduation. So what is the difference between the examination pattern or training pattern or training period? If you can kindly tell something, it will be helpful, sir.
Yeah, sure. Good question. So as we know that there are two different entries to the Indian Army or Armed Forces. One is after your class 12, then you go to NDA, the National Defense Academy, which is in Pune. Like I touched briefly, you do your graduation also from there, and you get a chance to either opt for Army, Navy, or Air Force while you're in the NDA. However, if you don't want to join, or you don't want to commit yourself after class 12 and you want to do your graduation, then after the graduation, there are the Air Force Academy, the Naval Academy, and the Indian Military Academy, which you can join after your graduation. You can do any graduation. It is, if you have a science background, then you can opt for the Navy and Air Force and certain arms in the Army. If you do not have, if you have just a BA pass, you can join the Army in the other fighting arms. Now for the training, again, like I said, in NDA, it is of 3 years, of 6 months of 6 terms, 6 months each, and from first term to 6th term, and after the 6th term, you pass out, and as per your choice, you go to the Indian Military Academy or the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy. Now, if you are choosing military or the Army, you come to Dehradun, where there's the Indian Military Academy, and you do a 1 year training. 1.5 years training. Whereas that is if you're coming after your graduation. If you're coming from NDA, then you do 1 year of IMA. So a graduate after you're graduating from a college, joins the academy as a first termer. In the first term, he's there only by their own batchmates who have come in. In the second terms, the NDA counterparts will join you. And second and third term, the NDA and the IMA direct entries will train together. After 1.5 years of your training for the direct entry and 1 year of the ex-NDAs, you pass out as an officer.
Sir, I have next question. SSB interview. Most of the students doesn't have any idea about what is SSB. They know, they have seen in the movies or they have heard from the others. Sir, can you share some experience about those days of SSB interviews and why it is known as one of the most disciplined and one of the most toughest one?
Okay. So in the SSB or the Service Selection Board, there are various boards all over India where a candidate undergoes 5 days of training. In that you have initially you have some aptitude tests where you are given, say, a photograph or which is slightly blurred, and you have to write a story on that. Or you're given some words and you have to write sentences with that. So that is basically to see what kind of a character you have and what kind of leadership qualities you have. Now in the SSB, there are 15 leadership qualities that the assessor is looking for in each and every candidate. Now, mind you, it is very tough to pass this examination because, for an example, there will be about 250 to 270 candidates coming in every week for the SSB. So there's no dearth of people trying to join the army. However, out of that, if it's a good batch, maybe 3 or 4 candidates are selected at the end of it, because we are looking at those 15 leadership qualities. Now, all the candidates who pass successfully will have to have all those 15 leadership qualities. It can be your basic intelligence, or it can be courage, or it could be your social adaptability, your social responsibility, how responsible you are towards your society, how good you are at making friends or making other people feel at peace. What is your basic knowledge or your general awareness of things? Like, for example, you must know when you're going for the SSB interview, your current affairs. You must have your thought process aligned. There'll be a group discussion, there'll be lectures, there'll be a physical test, there'll be group tasks. They're all available on the net. One can search, you can even find out what are the tasks which is there. It's very simple tasks, and you can clear those tasks by just your basic physics. So that is what it is. So to train yourself, first of all, you have to be absolutely your own natural self. Don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to say, oh, I saw this person has passed out, so he will be able to, I should behave like him. No, you find there are various types of people who try to come into for the SSB, and it's not necessary that if you do not clear the SSB, means that you have you don't have it in you, as they say. It is just that that particular field of work is not meant for you. You're not suitable for that. It's like a chartered accountant trying to be, trying to do engineering or structural engineering. It does not happen. It doesn't have the skills for it. So similarly, all of you all who are going for the SSB, go through what is there available on the net, and try and be your own self. And I'm saying this with experience because I was a GTO myself in Allahabad, and I have seen people coming in with preconceived ideas and failing. And then at the end, they say, look, so-and-so did this, he passed, why am I being held back? You are an individual, be your true self. And go with a positive mind. That is the best way of clearing the SSB.
So I have another question. A child was having some blockage since birth. At around 21 days after the birth, he was operated, and he was going to have next surgery when he is 16. Will the child be able to join the Indian Army?
I'm sorry, I didn't get the question.
The
He had what problem?
Blockage. He has a heart blockage around from birth. Will the child be able to join Indian Army? Medical one?
I'm not exactly sure about the medical part of it, but it's a very strict medical examination. Probably he will not be medically fit, because if you have a blockage, then you're not shape 1, you're not physically fit totally. So I don't think with any medical conditions you'll be allowed to join the army or any of the armed forces.
So NDA provides only entry to boys, and CDS have both boys and girls. Are there any other way by which a girl can enter Indian Army at different post other than the medical field? Because medical is definitely there. Other than medical field, infantry or other portion, if a girl want to join other than NDA, any other thing other than CDS by which the girl can be joining Indian Army?
Just to clarify, the CDS is an examination, Combined Defense Services examination, which you have to take whether you're a male candidate or a female candidate. That examination has to be done. Whereas the academy, NDA, yes, you're right, it is only for male officers. But you have a OTA, the Officers Training Academy in Chennai, which has lady entries in it. And I'm very proud to say some of the ladies are doing extremely well in the Indian Army. As of now, we don't have entry into the armed or the fighting forces for the ladies, but that is not because of anything, any shortcomings on the part of the ladies, but it is because of administrative problem. We are looking at that. Maybe down the line we'll have ladies coming into the fighting arms also. The selection procedure, the written tests are exactly the same for a male or a lady cadet. It's the same examination, the same SSB, the same written exam. Only thing is, once you are selected from the SSB, the ladies are sent to OTA, which is a 9-month program, and it's also a short commission program. It's not a permanent commission. You are there for a certain period of time, and then you could be extended. And now we are looking at a permanent tenure also for the short service officers, male or ladies.
So one child is having a question. I'm very happy with the question, because most of the persons, those who are not connected to Defense Academy or not around, they have this worry, because movies show this thing. Many NDA cadets leave the academy in the middle of their term. What different thing we face in NDA, how to adapt the environment?
Yes, like I was saying in my earlier talk, what to expect in the academy. It is a very, very physically and mentally very tough. You will be kind of ragged kind of thing, which happens in the colleges. In the colleges, it is very minute, whereas in the academy, it's very extreme. So yes, some boys, you're joined the NDA at 16, 17 years of age, and you're made to do certain kind of things, which is very, very tough physically. So some people do run away, do leave the academy, and they get their discharge done. But majority of it pull through. You just have to tell yourself, okay, look, thousands and thousands of people have done it before me, and thousands of people are going to do it after me also. So I just need to stick it on for a little while, and gradually it becomes better and better. Your worst is your second term. As you become third term or fourth term, you start getting privileges, and those are the privileges that you look forward to, and that is the maza of being in the academy. A small thing like a privilege for a second termer, when he goes to the bathroom, he has to wear his night suit, a gown, and the gown has to be strapped on or held together. When you go to third term, you can have your night gown open. So that's a privilege of your third term. Fourth termer can go without a gown, only in his pajamas. Fifth termers, they can go topless. And the sixth termers can do what he wants. I mean, he's a god. You know, so those are the kind of privileges that you'll get, and these are the things which motivate you. Trust me, kids, if you join the academy, you will come out of it feeling better, feeling more of a complete person. And it's great fun. It's better than pushing a pen in a desk.
Sir, last question to you. According to you, which entrance is better for a child, NDA or CDS? Means after 12 or after graduation, which you feel you want to suggest our students that which field will be better for them to join through NDA or join through CDS?
That's a very good question, and I really don't have a yes or no answer to it. But I could give you certain suggestions which would help you to make your decision. Firstly, if you are absolutely sure in your mind that you want to join the armed forces, then it is better to go through the NDA, because then your spirit de corps or the camaraderie that you build up over those 3 years with your course mates is something which will hold you instead throughout your life. So if you're very sure in your mind that you want to be in the armed forces, then go ahead, join the NDA. It's going to be tough, but it's going to pay in the long run. You will have your contact base much more, which helps at the end, you know, in your senior years of getting things done. So that is that. However, if you're not very sure, then I would not advise you to commit yourself after class 12. You know, because that is one step. Once you have joined the NDA, then unless you run away from there and come back and do your graduation, you are totally committed. You've already played on your front foot, right? So if you're not very sure, then you mature for 3 more years, do your graduation from the college, ask your friends, attend these kind of seminars. There's a lot of material in the net. Go through all that, and then if you feel that, yeah, I think I would like to be in the armed forces, then you have the second choice of joining the academies, Indian Military Academy or Naval Academy or Air Force Academy directly after graduation. So that option is also there. The third option is, if you're not very sure that I want to stick around for 20 years or 30, 35 years in the army, I would like to do a short stint in the army, get to know what the army life is, get to know what the discipline is all about. And then I would like to get back into the civil world. Then you go to the Officers Training Academy, which has a 9-month training period, and you are locked in for 7 years, after which you can leave. After a certain mandatory years in the army, you can leave the army, get your voluntary discharge, and join the civil. So these are the 3 options that is open to you, whichever suits you best.
Thank you, sir, for whatever you have suggested for our students. Hope this will be helpful. Ma'am, please, if you want to say something.
No, sir, I think you managed the question answers very well and asked all the questions. We also very close on time. So I would really like to thank Gautam Nandi, sir. It has been a very interesting session. I know that it's too late for me to join the army, no doubt. But one thing that I have learned is that I am never going to ask anyone to bring me a hot cup of piping tea full to the brim.
Not an army officer, at least.
No, I will not ask you. Now that I know, I will not ask you. But I would also like to tell you, I don't think this came up in the conversation, but Gautam sir was actually posted in Siachen, one of the most difficult territories that we have in India and one of the most volatile places. Very difficult. I have personally heard a lot of his Siachen stories, and maybe at some time in the future, Bera sir, you can invite Gautam sir into our school
Definitely,
for a
ma'am.
face-to-face session. I know that he will be there. Face-to-face session. There's a lot that you can all learn from Gautam sir about his experience in Siachen. One thing that I have learned, and I will not get into details, but I'll just tell you, I have learned how to make the most famous Siachen omelette, which Gautam sir has taught me. So anyway, I will end with that. I'll keep the suspense so that, next time when we meet him. But thank you, Bera sir, very well moderated. Thank you, Gautam sir, once more for our students. And that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Finally, thank you on behalf of St. Augustine Shamnagar and Barakpur to be here in this session with Gautam sir. He introduced a lot of things. He shared a lot of his personal experience, which you hardly know from a person. The inexperience, how the things he shared, he experienced. What I will say, you will get a lot of friends. Whatever friends you have at present in your life, you will have much more friends, and they are literally, they are friends. Whatever happens, they will be there next to you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much for this session. Thank you.